Hey, what's up, everyone? It is time for our recruiting report with Otis Kirk. And Otis, you were out in Little Rock for the commitment of Amarion Harris from J.T. Robinson. He's the 10th commit now for the 2022 class for Arkansas. How was that today?
Oh, it was great. I got to see James Rouse, James Joyner, Ricky Williams, Zach Williams. Probably leaving someone out. But all those people, well, Elliott Harris Sr. played Razorback. There was a lot of ex-Razorbacks out there, Tara, and it was a good time. And no, he chose the Razorbacks. And the big thing here is what people got to look at. There's two big-time offensive tackles in the state of Arkansas. In fact, ESPN has them rated 1-2 in the state. That's Andrew Chamley of Maumelle, about 6'7", 6'8", 300 or so, and then Amarion Harris, about 6'6", 330 from J.T. Robinson. And Arkansas got both of them. And you're looking at two kids that are four-star offensive tackles. And as Amarion told me today, you can put me on one side and him on the other, And I mean, that's got to be a quarterback's best friend to have two offensive tackles out there. Not just the size, but the talent of those kids. Elliott played at Arkansas, his dad, and of course, Amarion, I told him, I said, I know your mother wants you to go to Arkansas, Tiffany, because if she didn't, you wouldn't be committing on Mother's Day, because no one commits on Mother's Day and doesn't go where the mother wants them to go. so he'd have to be bigger than he is now to do that, and get away to pull that off. But no, it was a fun day. It was good commitment. I'll tell you a funny story on this, Tara. Some guy comes in, I don't even know who he was. He comes in, puts Georgia, OU, and Missouri caps down. No Arkansas cap. And James Joyner, when Amarion comes in then, and there's still three caps on the table, James Joyner goes, "Hey, you're missing one, aren't you, man? There's one missing there." And what it is, Amarion pulled it out of a hat with a jersey from I think it was from from Elliott's bowl game, Arkansas Razorback jersey he used. So it was it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, he's been committed. I can say it now. He's been committed for about 3 months now or longer. He's been committed for quite a while, and he went public with it today. And so Arkansas really looking good at that offensive line. You've got the kid from South Carolina, and then you still got some. Well, we're getting ready to talk about another one here in a few minutes on here. Another offensive lineman's coming in for a visit, and then later on, Cam East from Louisiana will come in for an official visit. So, as expected, Sam Pittman's taking care of the offensive line. By the way, Amarion told me today the biggest influence with him going to Arkansas up staff was Brad Davis. Brad did a great job on him. So, congratulations to Brad Davis getting a good player there. No, a great player there and a great kid.
Well, I'm sure that Sam Pittman is excited about that commitment. But we've also got Brandon Connard is another guy that Arkansas is looking at. He is actually got Arkansas in his top 4 right now, running back out of Murfreesboro. What can you tell us about him?
Well, he's coming in for a visit on the first weekend in June, Tara. We're getting back to getting these official visits going. And, he's going to come in. He's down to Middle Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Mississippi State. And he's about 5'10", 175 or so. But Brandon is a speedy running back that Arkansas likes. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Traylon Smith, somebody like that. He's a speed back, little guy, but can sure make people miss him. But he'll be here on June the 4th through the 6th, I believe, is that first weekend in June. And that's going to be a big weekend. It'll be a bunch of out-of-state kids. Miles Rouser here. He's a commitment to Arkansas. But the rest of them right now are set up are non-committed kids, not uncommitted, but non-committed. So, yeah, it should be a good weekend. But he'll be one of the official visitors. And that will be an official visit, by the way.
Okay. Well, I know that Sam Pittman's probably excited to actually start getting people on campus again.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All the virtual visits that they've been doing. Manny Powell, by the way, is another guy, linebacker, 6'3", 225 from Ohio. He's actually also going to be taking an official visit in June.
Right. He'll be here the second weekend, June the 11th through 13th, if my math is right on these dates. But anyway, the second weekend in June, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Manny will be here. He's a linebacker, about 6'2", 6'3", about 225, good size for a linebacker. Really likes the linebacker coach at Arkansas, Coach here, and likes Barry Odom, of course, and he's the type of linebacker that you can fit in there and play him. He's pretty flexible. He can play he can play all the linebacker spots at Arkansas. So that's somebody you want, and they've offered him. Well, they've offered all the kids we're talking about here, but they've offered him a scholarship, and he'll be here that second weekend. And when I talked to him, I asked him. I said, because right now that's the first visit he's got set up. I said, would you consider a commitment even being possible that weekend? He said, my mother wouldn't really like for me to commit to the first school I go to, but anything is possible. He did add the anything is possible.
Yeah.
so we'll see how that works out. I mean, whether Arkansas gets him that weekend or later, I do think they've got a great shot at him. I think they got a great shot at all these kids, especially Manny, though. I mean, I think they've really got an outstanding chance there to get him, and they need him. They've got a linebacker. You've got Caden Henley is committed to linebacker, but one thing I think for his linebackers, I think they'll try to get some older ones later on too, Tara, because you lose a lot of linebackers on that campus off this year's team. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got a couple of come back three came back because of the COVID rule that wouldn't even been eligible to come back. And so you've got, you've got three there, and then Bumper Pool will be a senior on the classroom. And so, I mean, you're going to lose a lot of linebackers off this year's team. So I'd look for them to, even if they get Powell, you got Henley, and I think they'll probably go. Well, they'll go for more high school, but I think they'll go for an older linebacker somewhere. That could eventually be a grad transfer or a JUCO kid. Just somebody that's more ready somebody can step in and play immediately, and that's just my thinking that's what they're going to do. No one's told me they're going to do that. It's just the common sense tells you they're losing a lot of experience there at linebacker in this class, and so. Sam loves to fill classes with high school kids, but he also likes to use the transfer portal. He needed defensive linemen. He went and got three of them in the transfer portal. So, recently. Yeah. So that's what Sam likes to do, and I think you might see him do that with a linebacker in this class coming up.
Well, you kind of teased this guy a little bit earlier, Bryson Hurst, offensive lineman, and 6'6", 340 from Mississippi. Yeah. He had a virtual visit already, but he's got some other SEC offers as well as Arkansas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I look for him to either stay in the state. He's got a lot of offers, but I look for him to either stay in the state and go to one of the Mississippi or Mississippi State, or come to Arkansas. He'll be here that first weekend as well. And I'm telling you, you get guys like Bryson Hurst, Andrew Chamley, Amarion Harris, Cam East, and guys like that. You're getting big old. I mean, those are some big kids that can move people out of the way, and that's what Sam wants. I mean, the line got too small when Chad was here, and Sam comes in and said we got to get bigger on the offensive line. And Stromberg and Meyer and Cunningham and those guys did that, but that's what you've got to do. And what Sam's doing is out here recruiting these guys. These are, like I said, Amarion is 6'6", 330. Chamley, he's probably about 300 right now, but I mean, he's so tall, his frame, he can carry unlimited amount of weight, and then Hurst, at 340. So, I mean, you're talking about guys that are SEC ready size-wise. They got to get stronger and redistribute it some, but you're talking about some very good players. And Bryson is, he is, like I said, he could go another school, but I really think it's going to come down to those three schools that I mentioned. Kind of like Connard. I mean, if Connard goes out of state, right now, his other three are the same schools I just mentioned for Hurst: Arkansas, Mississippi State. So they're recruiting against those schools, and, you got Leach, and then, of course, Kip, and then, of course, Coach Pittman. And I'll take my chances with Coach Pittman recruiting against most people. He's a really good recruiter, and he loves those offensive linemen. And he, when he wants – and listen, between Sam Pittman and Brad Davis, it's hard for an offensive lineman to turn them down, because one thing they know with Sam being the head coach, Tara, they know that the offensive line is always going to be a priority at the University of Arkansas. And that's important to linemen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Otis Kirk, that's going to wrap up our recruiting report. As always, thanks so much for your time. Drive safe back to Fayetteville.
Okay, you bet. Have a good one.
Bye.